talking about this the other day about the impact of being homeless. You could be a perfectly sane person, man, but you get out in them streets and see how rough life can be, and it can affect you mentally, dude. Especially if you're a woman and you out there in these streets and you getting abused, you get mistreated, and you have some other issues, and you must have somebody give you something so they can get to have their way. Next thing you know, your brain cells is dysfunctioning, and you got a problem. And now, it becomes a way of life. You don't trust people no more. You don't trust anybody.
Yeah, man. If you had a magic wand, what would you do to change things? If you had a magic wand and unlimited resources at the palm of your hands in a hypothetical world, what would you do?
I would, I definitely would do my best to cure homelessness, because that's kind of sad, dude. And you have to figure out how to unhandcuff law enforcement and social services to be able to assist people who don't know they need help. And basically, in order for you to get help, you have to be a direct threat to yourself or somebody else or somebody's property. Okay, you got to be a direct threat to yourself or somebody's property, and even property can be subjective. Okay, but if you're a physical threat to yourself or someone else, you'll get help. Again, you may be talking to yourself walking in traffic, okay? But you ain't blocking traffic, you ain't threatening to get hit, but you just walking on the street naked. That ain't enough to get you get you some help. That ain't enough, because you're not a threat. You just walking down the street naked. And these are the kind of things we have to address. But again, because we've gotten to be such a wussy country, well, they have the right to walk down the street naked. Maybe they do, but maybe there's a reason why she's walking around the street naked. Maybe she don't. Maybe she don't know she's naked. That's a whole nother problem by itself. Hey, man, this is the kind of madness we're dealing with. I was at a meeting in Compton recently. We're talking about prostitution and mini bikes. Well, everybody's so concerned that if a cop takes after a mini bike guy riding a mini bike, and he runs in traffic and gets hit by a car, that they're going to sue the sheriff department for pursuing him. Well, these guys are darting out of traffic every day with no helmets, doing
all
wheelies,
the time.
doing wheelies the whole 9 yards. Who's responsible for that? If you went over, if you kill one of them because you don't see them, you hear them before you see them. Same thing with prostitutes, or they're victims. Some of them may be victims, but a lot of them just trying to pay some rent. Okay, it's a little bit different. If somebody got you out there, got you out there by force or whatever the case may be, that's a victim. When you out there just trying to get paid because you want to make some money to go do something, Beyonce ticket, whatever the case may be, that's a little bit different, dude. So victims begot new victims, and I don't understand that, dude. When you see it, when a young girl sees other young girls out in the streets, half naked, selling their bodies, and we don't say or do anything, that gives them license to do the same thing. Silence is approval, man. Silence is approval.
You ain't lying, Lonzo. You ain't lying. Let's do one more line, rap line, before we jump into some questions. And I got all your questions, so keep them coming. I'm copying and pasting everyone in the chat. Here's one from Keep Your Head Up. One of my favorite Tupac songs. This line is, and since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from our own woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? When you hear that, Lonzo, what are your thoughts? That's a very powerful line.
Man, women are the backbone of society. That's true. Women are the ones that nurture the children and put them on the direction for their life. My daddy raised me for the most part. My mama put me on the right direction. So my daddy had his influence. She had taught me all the basics. He taught me how to be a man. And when you lose that connection, and it's like having a kite with no tail. You ever flew a kite back in the day?
course, yeah.
It's like flying a kite with no tail. You know, you go up in the air, but you can't control it. And moms is that one that give you that tail, give you that direction, to teach you your basic manners, how to be polite, how to respect people. And your pop shows you how to be a man, or mom may show you how to be a woman. Your dad may have influence on that as well. So, but again, the 80s was such a controversial time, man, till you had moms at that time in their 30s and 40s that was hooking up with the dope dealers and the gangbangers. In my era, we didn't have that. We didn't have that. Our mothers, you know, and I was looking on Facebook the other day, and they were showing 40-year-old homegirl from Golden Girls. She was 40, and they showed Jennifer Lopez at 40. It's a different kind of 40.
That's fact.
Okay? It was a different kind of 40. At 40, you was a grandmama. You was pretty much a grandmama. You was ready to wrap it up. Your husband had a good job. You got a few more years before you get that pension. And it was a different era. Now at 40, you got on your Jordans. You going to the club. You still doing certain things. You still cool. And those different eras changed motherhood, in a lot of ways. You got mothers that compete with, if you got a daughter 20, you could be 40 with a daughter 20. Y'all gonna end up at the same club, and so y'all could very possibly end up at the same club. Okay? If there were still clubs in LA. All right? Y'all may still be interested in doing the same thing. Mama 21, daughter 20, mama 20, mama 41, daughter 21. Okay, y'all could go to the same places and do the same stuff. All right? And thanks to BBLs and cumbrellas and weaves and all the other stuff, shit, mama gonna look good. Mama still gonna look pretty good. Mama gonna still look pretty appealing at 41 years old. I remember when I saw Janet Jackson when she did her thing in the Super Bowl. I said, "Oh, I made a comment. Ain't nobody wants to see no 40-year-old titties. Bullshit. I got roasted on that one, boy."
I was praying for a wardrobe malfunction, dog.
I got roasted on that one. So yeah, Doc, the 40, time has changed everything. I'm 66, man. I don't do a 66 up, but most 66-year-old dudes do. The hip hop lifestyle, the attitude. Most of my buddies I roll with don't do what our daddies did at 66. I still got a lowrider in my garage. Not a lowrider, but I got a cruiser in my garage, man. I'm laying floors a day. I got a podcast. How many 60-year-old men got a podcast? So it just, times and the times have changed, the attitudes, the